It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Joining us now is Pulitzer Prize winning columnist Michael Goodwin. And Michael, boy, it's like thin on joy, hope, change, and it seems that's the focus, and thin on policies, thin on issues. And there's a lot to go after. I can't wait to see what is she going to say tonight.
Well, I suspect she will not break any new ground that would interrupt the joy. The joy that the media has spotlighted. You know, sometimes really it's hard to know, do the Democrats think of these things and the media echo them, or does the media think of these things and the Democrats say, hey, the media likes joy, let's go with joy? When you look at all the press people who said, oh, what a joyful campaign, joy, she's exuding joy, it suddenly now has been picked up by everybody, including the Obamas, right? I mean, it's a joyful moment. It's a great PR strategy if you can get away with it.
What did you make of sort of also on the flip side? They're saying the word joy on one side of their mouth, and then on the other side, they're saying convicted felon, he's the worst, he's the this, but we're the party of unity, we're the party of joy. I mean, it's like, I think it was Trump who said that his name had been mentioned. This was, yesterday, so it's gone up a lot after last night. It was like 300 times. Yeah, I mean, you can't make it up.
Right. 300 times for Donald Trump, and not once the border, other than, this idea that she's going to be tough on the border. No sense of responsibility for the predicaments that the nation is in. The economy, she's going to fix it on day one. Well, you're the vice president. Why do you wait? Why not do it now? The border, same thing. The world, same thing. I mean, she's not just running from her record, she's ignoring it. And, of course, the media is letting her do it. So these are the challenges that the Republicans have. Look, I think overall both parties have had very good conventions in the sense that they are drawing together and uniting their parties. But the conventions, even in this crazy year, are serving the same function they generally do, which is, okay, now you've united the party. Now you have to appeal to the independents, to the swing voters. And both parties have that same challenge. And so one of the ways each of them will do is attack the other's claims at their conventions. And I have to say that I think, having been to both, the Republicans have a lot more fat targets to shoot at than the Democrats do. I mean, the Republicans, it's really about Trump. I mean, the Democrats can argue about abortion. I mean, they've concocted this whole 2025 issue, which is really a lie. Trump clearly disavowed it. He's clearly said he will not sign a national abortion ban. So he's been pretty successful, I think, at laying down markers that even the fact checkers are acknowledging that he has said these things.
But they keep saying it. Like I keep hearing January 6th, Charlottesville, Project 2025, convicted felon. I mean, you hear it over and over again.
And that's because of the media. That's because the media does not call the Democrats out on these lies. You're right. You add Charlottesville to that list. I mean, there's no question that they have distorted that. They have distorted everything to get Trump, to make Trump look bad. And if there were a responsible, fair media in America, then those things would be taken off the board, at least in public, right? Privately, they could whisper them, but they'd be taken off the board public. And we would have a real argument, a real debate about what's good for this country going forward, what policies. But instead, the Democrats want to run on personality. They want to run on Donald Trump's personality because they think that's a strength for them. And they don't want to talk about their own weaknesses. They don't want to talk about their own record. So, look, ultimately, elections are all about who gets to define the terms. Who gets to set the agenda as to what the public cares about? I happen to think that Trump is right on the issues, but they have a lot of targets, Democrats do, on his personality, on his language, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. Who can make the stronger case that the other guy is the problem?
Yeah, Ed Cox.
Michael, what did you think of President Clinton's speech? It was sort of out of sync with the really tough kind of criticism. Is more subtle, a little bit more quiet. What did you think of it?
Ed, I thought he had an idea, right? He had an idea of what he wanted to be and what he wanted to convey, which is kind of the elder statesman, and that he has seen a lot in the Oval Office, and so therefore he knows he knows a clunker when he sees one, or he knows a fraud when he sees one. I don't think it was very persuasive. I thought it was, in the end, a fairly thin idea with thin evidence and thin conviction. I'm not sure he himself believed that he was going to add something to the debate. It was more like an honorarium for him. I didn't think it was terribly effective.
Judge Weinberg.
Michael, let me ask you this. The Obama's speech, what did you make of their speech? Bringing back hope and change? What about their dismal record in terms of what they did to this country in terms of dividing it and emboldening and financing Iran? And Iran is on the cusp of getting nuclear weapons. It's as if they've abolished history. They've whitewashed history. Hope and change? I was hoping for a change away from those kinds of bad policies.
That's a good line.
I think we all were, Richard. One of the things that struck me about both of them was a lack of self-awareness, or at least they were not acknowledging sort of elephants in the room. For example, Michelle Obama is giving this moral lecture about greed and people who have too much. My God, wouldn't she make $30 million on her book? They own these 3 amazing mansions.
How about J.B. Pritzker? J.B. Pritzker. I mean,
he at least acknowledged.
The Hyatt firm.
Said, I'm an actual billionaire.
Yeah, versus
now,
the
if a
other,
Republican
right?
said that would be an advertisement, right? So the hypocrisy of what Michelle Obama said, notwithstanding the fact that she was very good, very entertaining, very energetic, she looked terrific, and I thought it was, for the crowd, effective. But again, there are big holes in the argument, and it's going to be up to the Republicans. Now, on Barack Obama, he was true to form, but again, the lack of awareness, of self-awareness. So he is talking about, at one point, we have to work together. We have to respect each other. We can't hate each other. And then he says, Republicans want to poison your children with their dirty water and dirty. Which is it? I mean, that is precisely, this is the guy of the clingers, right? That the people in Pennsylvania who didn't vote for him, they cling to their God and their guns. So this to me is the fundamental issue of the Democratic Party. They have no respect and no understanding of the Republican voters. They hate Donald Trump, MAGA, 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 Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. But they have no understanding why these people are not with them.
Right. It's like either you're with us or you're not. You're right. I agree.
Well, you're an enemy. Charles Krailhammer said something years ago, which always stuck with me.
I love Charles. Charles and I were friends. We worked together. We worked together at Fox for many years.
Yeah. He said, Republicans think Democrats are wrong. Democrats think Republicans are evil. And that really, I think we saw that at this convention, that the Democrats think Republicans are evil. And that is an insurmountable gulf that just separates the parties. And I think it is a prime reason why this country is so divided. There's no bridge.
Yeah, you're right.
To go across.
So, Michael, the fourth denizen on the White House on the stage there, Hillary. What do you think of her speech?
Excellent speech for her, and much better than she normally does. She really had the audience. I think she hit a lot of the right notes. But for me, the most sour moment and the kind of the disqualifying moment is when she's railing about Trump, and people start chanting, lock him up, and she smiles and nods.
She smiled.
And nods.
Yeah.
Nods approval. Disgraceful.
One of the things, too, by the way, tonight, we're also going to hear from Elizabeth Warren. I notice it's like every night there's like one of these, there was Bernie Sanders one night, AOC, right. Elizabeth Warren. Well, we'll see. Thank you so much, Michael. We love having you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you.
America. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. By honoring your sacred vocation of business, you impact your family, your friends, and your community. At Grand Canyon University, our MBA degree program is 100% online, with emphases in business analytics and finance to help you reach your goals. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.